Hey, it's Bernadette. Happy Friday. It is September 6th. I can't, first of all, believe it's September. And second of all, I can't believe it's already the 6th. This week has flown by, this first week of September. It's been a little bit of a blur. And today I'm going to give you my update. I'm in week 2 post chemotherapy, post number 6 chemotherapy. Just want to kind of fill you in on some discoveries and research that I've been doing about my next infusions, and let you know what's going on with me, and some things that I've been thinking and want some feedback on it. Right. So for those of you who don't know me well, because you just started following my cancer journey in May, prior to that, for 25 plus years, I've been doing mentoring and coaching and life transformation work with clients one-on-one and in groups. And I have had phenomenal results because I have a ton of tools. And since I got my diagnosis with lymphoma and got hospitalized right away upon going to the emergency room, life kind of stopped. Business kind of got put on the back burner while I kept up with the things I was doing for my clients. I wasn't necessarily posting a lot of content, yada, yada, yada. It's a lot of work. For those of you who are content creators, it's a lot of work. Say hi if you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from too. So I let all of that go on the back burner. And now that I'm done with chemo, which is the hardest of the treatments that I will undergo, as far as I'm told by my doctor, I can start the recovery process. And now that I'm in week 2, which is detox week for chemo, and I'll explain that in a minute, I feel like in the upcoming weeks, I can start to rebuild my body and get my energy back and detox more and more and rebuild my liver, which is, having a real hard time. So, and when your liver is toxic and having a hard time and your liver functioning is not as high as it normally is, and I had a perfectly functioning liver before, and kidneys, and both of them have been compromised with all the meds. When it's not full function, you will feel more fatigue. And there's some side effects that I haven't necessarily spoken of, that do affect me. And I don't know how long it will take to get my body back to full functioning. But so week 2, I had chemo on the 28th of August. So a week ago Wednesday. Today is day 9, I believe. Yeah, Wednesday is 8, Thursday 9. Sorry, day 10. Today's day 10, which is usually, because I've journaled every chemo cycle. Usually day 10 is about the last day that I go through the serious detox where, and when I say detox, you can tell that it's chemotherapy coming out because of the color of bowel movements and the consistency, and it's just straight up different altogether, texture different. So when that happens, the last 2 to 3 rounds, hi Carmency, the last 2 to 3 rounds, I started experiencing some electrical pain in the midsection of my back that was running, like literally the girdle of my back, kind of below my kidneys, and it was very paralyzing. And the first time it happened, it would last for like 5 minutes, and my whole back would spasm, and oh my God, the electrical pain was insane. Then the second time it happened, it was lasting longer, and it was hurting, and it was the second week, the detox week. This time, it started last night, but I did a lot of relaxation, hi Kim, and breathing techniques to kind of calm it all down and just talk to myself out of feeling it. Like, I'm like, nope, you're not going to react to this. And while it started, it did let up pretty quick. Unlike last time Round 5, the electric pain was unbearable, and it was lasting a very long time. I eventually had to take a Valium, which I have a prescription for because my neck surgery, occasionally my neck will spasm, lock up, and stay that way for days. So I take a very small dose of Valium for muscle spasms. And so I had a few pills left, and last time I took one to be able to sleep because I couldn't just keep standing up. Sitting and laying down was impossible. This time, like I said, I used a lot of my tools, my mindset tools, my breathing techniques, and was able to bypass it. Now, I hope it doesn't come back. That's my hope. I'm believing that I'll be okay. We'll see. Trying to balance some stuff out. Because this was the hardest round, typically on day 10, it's the last day of detox. I may have another day or two of detox from the chemo because of the buildup. I don't know for sure. The good news is feeling around where the tumor is, it's definitely gotten smaller this time compared to even number 5. So I can tell a difference in the way that it feels, in the width of it, in the length of it. I can tell a difference, where number 5, I didn't necessarily feel like there was that much of a difference, which was concerning me. But this time there has been. And here's what I did different. Going into chemo around 6, I was like, mind over matter at this point. Instead of going into fear about more treatments and yada, yada, like, the power of your mind. And so direct this chemo to where it needs to go and fight these cancer cells. So I did that for days when the chemo first went in, and even prior to it going in. I've been sleeping a lot, resting a lot. And one of the things that I've learned through this journey is when your body wants you to rest or needs you to rest, and you're like, but I want my energy levels back. Some of you know what I'm talking about, even if you don't have cancer, you have like chronic fatigue or other chronic health issues. You want to fight it. You want to force through, because that's what we've always done, right? That's what I've always done. Tell me yes in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Like, push through, force through, buckle up, man up, whatever, all the things that we're told, right? Just get through it. One of the things that I've really come to terms with as I reached the end of chemo, and even as I'm kind of processing through, I've got 2 additional treatments that were added, is there is no pushing through this. My body needs all of the energy it has to put the chemo where it needs to go and then detox and kill those cancer cells. The chemo is going to do its job, but my body has to do its job too, to purge and detox all of the tissue and all of the stuff. It's a lot of energy. Hi, Cynthia. Hi, Andrea. So instead of fighting, instead of forcing, instead of pushing, I have stopped the resistance and stopped wishing, praying, hoping that I have more energy, and trying to make myself do things when my body's like, you need to sleep. Just lay down, right? I love this. So Cartomancy's saying always. So yeah, that push force, gotta do it. Like, that's what we're trained to do. And Kim's saying definitely know what you're talking about. In our society, there is such this productivity driven mindset. In fact, I watched a video from the ex-CEO of Google. I think he was the ex-CEO, of Google the other day. And he made some comments about why he left, which is so telling about what we're programmed to believe and what they're trying to, the workforce and companies are trying to get us back into right now. But he said, part of the reason I left Google is because their values don't align to my values, which, okay, fine. What are they? He said, well, they've prioritized work-life balance and mental health of their employees over productivity, which is not going to allow us in America to win. I'm like, wow, that is a crappy attitude. And he said, countries like Taiwan and China, they are all about working however many hours they have to as workers, and do not worry about work-life balance. And I know in a lot of the developing countries, that is true. They will work their people till they're dropping, right? It doesn't matter what level job you have either. If you do your research, places like South Korea, even like they work to the bone. They're working to the point where literally they've only got enough time for 4 hours of sleep. Forget about spending time with your family. Forget about doing things to de-stress. Like you're constantly on high alert. And he's like, but those countries are advancing technologically at a faster rate than us. Now we're still ahead in the US, but if we don't get our game back on and get back into productivity and stop prioritizing work-life balance, we're going to fall behind. And I'm like, that's the mentality. Literally, that's the mentality that has driven Generation Z. So Bella's age, my youngest, 22, her generation, to say we're not doing it anymore. Like we want to have our mental health, because one thing that I know to be true, because I work with a lot of people that hit burnout, that hit mental breakdowns, that go into crisis mode and survival mode throughout the years, like 25 years. I've got a lot of experience. The one thing I know is once you lose your mental health, this isn't like take a couple days off and you'll be okay. Just get some rest, Netflix and chill. No, it can take years once your adrenals fatigue out and once your mental space has just hit this place where there's no more chemicals supporting happiness like dopamine, oxytocin. And that's scientifically proven. You can look it up. The reason I'm bringing this up is because that mentality, when translated into something like dealing with cancer, you've got this programming in your head that's like, go, 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 go. If you're not producing, you're not worth anything. You're useless. Don't lay down. People are looking at you. It's ridiculous. So I had to succumb to the reality of my condition and my treatment. And I'm not a victim to it. I've made conscious choices so that I'm not fighting my body. Because a lot of what I see, and even when I do health coaching, natural health coaching with people, a lot of what I see is there's an internal conflict over healing. People want to heal, but they don't take the time necessary for their body to actually physically do what's necessary in process to heal. And so when your mind's at war with itself, you can't expect your body, your cells, your tissues, your organs, which take its cue from what you're thinking, to be able to fully heal. So we have to give into it. We have to just go put everything that's not a priority on the back burner. No matter what kind of, mentorship or transformational work I do with people, number one thing I help them with is, let's first prioritize your life. What's most important right now? What is absolutely essential? And a lot of people are like, making money. I'm like, that doesn't trump your health. Your body, your mind, your health has to come first. It has to come first. And while we're programmed to believe that paying bills and everything else is priority, it's really not. It really isn't. It's scary when you can't, that's no longer the priority. But you learn to adapt if you're willing to. These are great comments. Always pushing. Rest is super important too. Yeah. They hang suicide nets around the building sometimes, but not always. Europe gives tons of vacation. Europe has parts of Europe, not all of Europe. Parts of Europe have far better work-life balance. I mean, their maternity leave and they offer paternity leave, which we don't even offer in the US, is better. Their healthcare system is way better than the US. There's so many things about how the US is falling in with what's lacking, right? Mental health it's number one, literally number one. Amen to what you're saying. Good. I'm glad this is making sense. Because if there's one thing that I set out when I decided to share my journey transparently, and not feel what I'm going through this whole cancer journey, it is to help people get way more transparent and real. One of the values that I hold very dear, and I've built my business on it, my life on it, is since my 20s. I'm not going to say that I was this way before my 20s, before I had a great transformation myself, is the more transparent I am, the more authentic I can be, the less energy it's going to take to run my life. And people cannot like what I say or how I live my life, but I don't have to apologize for anything that, oh, someone caught me doing because I didn't like. I am a human being. The one of the things that is also super important to me is humility, right? Staying very humble and knowing I don't know everything. I can't possibly know everything. Nobody does. And I know very little, even though I'm 57, getting ready to turn 58 in December. I have a lot of life experience, but I don't know everything, right? I have this access to spirit and higher wisdom because I have an incredible sense of intuition that has been crafted since birth. But that doesn't mean I always can access that information, right? I'm not Google. So I know that I can be wrong and that there's so much more to learn and to experience, more than what one lifetime on this planet can possibly yield. However, I do know what's going on in the world. What's interesting is over the last, I guess it's been about a month or 2 months, Spirit has had me add a news app onto my phone. I don't normally follow the news. I don't, but they told me, like, you need to start looking at the patterns of what's going on while you've got downtime and you have time to actually just see what's going on and serve. I'm like, man, okay. And I've done it. And it's actually helped me with some research as of late as to what everybody's kind of struggling with, the human condition. And I love studying the mind and the human condition because that's the work I do. But watching the amount of depressing news and increasing crime and hate and separation and division and just even natural disasters and wars and all that stuff is like, God, really? You want me to follow this? And it hit me really hard yesterday because yesterday was probably the hardest day of detox I went through. The prednisone was worn off and my stomach was just not having it. My body was just like not happy. So I was in bed most of the day, but I was still scrolling and watching stuff and researching. And there came a place where I was like, God, what is the point of all of this? How are people coping? How are people handling life right now with all the tech job layoffs and other job layoffs and the economy and the election? It was like so overwhelming. And Spirit's like, that's just it. It is overwhelming. And this is where prioritizing your life comes really to number one. Prioritize what is important to you and what you're doing. Because if you don't, it's easy to get sucked into TikTok doom scrolling, Facebook doom scrolling, trying to find something that's going to make you feel better. You know what's going to make you feel better? Knowing what's important to you. And while there's a lot of negative news out there, here's the positive side of it. The more this stuff gets exposed that's happening, we have real-time updates. You can't believe everything you see on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. However, when you see something and it triggers something in you, it's a really good indicator that there's some level of fear of the uncertainty of what's coming next, fear of danger, lots of fear. It triggers what that fear is in you, which means you can do something with it once you become aware it exists. So hiding from it doesn't help. I'm not telling y'all to jump on news. Like, that's not helpful. I was specifically told to do it, and I always do what I'm told. And thankfully, my mindset and my connection to Spirit helps me stay above the low vibe energy. But it's been interesting to watch. So my mindset this week has been really hard, or my mental thoughts that have gone sort of out of control. There's also some astrological aspects that have been happening that has made this week, and for the most part, all of September, very intense. And if you're in my hidden wisdom, you know, with the monthly forecast, I did the astrology and kind of gave you guys the down low on what to expect. However, this is going to be an intense month of news. This is going to be an intense month of revelations and corruption revealed and destruction revealed so that we can actually do something about it. And I want you to keep that mindset, because that's what's gotten me through this cancer journey is, okay, what is going on pattern wise in me that I'm going through this, and what do I need to stop, change, heal, transform? This is a learning experience. I've done the cancer ride before. Naturally, I've not done Western medicine rides like this, but this time it was absolutely necessary because lymphoma is no joke. It's super aggressive, the type I have. But my mindset has had to be that no matter what is happening in my physical body, it doesn't get to determine what I think and how I feel emotionally. Like, I have to choose that. I have to intentionally choose that. We all get to. We just forget that we get to. And that has empowered me through this journey the most. Does that mean that I've had no bad days? Oh my God. No, I've had some bad, low, horrible days. But I can bounce back and be very resilient with it. It gets easier. I think it has gotten easier since I've surrendered and stopped trying to force my way forward, and push my body into a place physically, or even my emotions and my mind into a place that is not authentic to what's going on with me and not authentic to and aligned to the treatment that I've been undergoing. It's been easier because the days when I drop into like the prednisone crash, I drop into this like really weird mental state of almost like depression, and hopelessness. There's like a day or two there that it drops. And I don't know if that's because the dopamine chemicals are just suppress the oxytocin. I'm sure there's a chemical reason for it, but prednisone basically kind of puts you into adrenal fatigue. So there's a lot to that. But instead of judging it and going, oh, you need to call a therapist now, or you need to, find a resolution for this, my answer to that to myself has been, you just need to get through this. This is just a moment, and it's part of the process of detox, or part of the process of the healing from the chemo and whatnot. Like, this is just part of the process. This is not permanent. This too shall pass. This is what's gotten me through, especially this week. So for those of you who've asked me, like, how are you, going through this so positively? That's how. It really is controlling my mindset. And when I'm feeling bad, letting myself feel bad, just not trying to change it, because we always want to change it. Like, oh, I'm depressed, I want to change it right now. Like, I know that it's going to pass once my body comes back, once my adrenals rebuild, once my body gets the rest it needs, once I detox more, my liver's not so toxic. It will come back, right? Am I 100%? Not even close. But I'm not as bad as I was a couple days ago, for sure. I've got a smile on my face. I mean, I found myself, even though I didn't go to sleep till 6:30 this morning, it is now 10:55. I slept till 8:30, thanks to my dog Penny. Even though I haven't gotten sleep, I'm smiling. And I found myself in the middle of the night getting up to go to the bathroom and just having this infusion of positive, joyful energy, just going, all right, I made it through without the electrical pain taking over. Like, how great is that? And while I didn't sleep, I wasn't in pain. And I celebrated that and danced my way to the house, went to the bathroom, came back out, and then stayed up again until 6:30 in the morning. Before, I would, like, when I wasn't fully in control of my head, the moments where I haven't been, I was dragging butt to the house and feeling bad for myself, and going, I want this to be over. I want this to be over. And the more I said, I want this to be over, the harder it was getting. So I just gave into, like, it is what it is right now. This is part of the process. So I hope that just that lens flip, that mantra is something some of you can use for whatever you're going through right now, because I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things. I know y'all are. And I'm hoping as my body rebuilds here in the next few weeks, in the next few months, I hope that I can, get more content out that is more on the personal development, spiritual development side, um, to start addressing a lot of the issues that are coming up for people, because a lot of people have a lot of fear and concern about what they're going through in life. And I miss doing that content. I also miss helping people on that level, right? I like to be of service. I love to offer stuff that's going to help you, just little tidbits. So use that one. Like if you can use that mantra for yourself, you just need to get through this. It's part of the process. Don't push, don't force. Surrender. Listen to what your body's asking you for. Listen to what your mind is asking you for as far as the connection between mind and body. You can't always trust your thoughts, especially if they're fear-based. Like that's a given. But you get to choose your thoughts, which ones you're going to focus on. And I say focus on the positive ones. We're all going through some sort of a process. So where I'm at right now in the cancer journey, I think on the last live stream I did, I talked about having to have 2 infusions past this one for a drug called Rituxan. And what I didn't realize, but in my lymphoma group, it was made clear. I already had it. It was part of my chemo regimen. R-CHOP, one of the drugs is rituximab, not Rituxan, same drug apparently. It's an immunotherapy drug. So I won't die from it because I've already had it. I'm sure I still have to do the Benadryl infusion with it. And whatever else, the pre-meds they give you before that. But now I'm not afraid to do it because I've already had it. I've had 6 rounds of it. And it's about an hour and a half infusion from what I'm told. And then my doctor said that my hair will start to grow back now that the chemo stopped. So in about a month, my hair will start to come back. My energy levels will start to return. I can start to rebuild my body. But I have to find out from her what drugs I still have to stay on. As of now, I'm on all the drugs that I'm normally on, the antibiotics and the antivirals and yada, yada. But, and the blood thinners. But we'll see. Like I have high hopes. Like I said, things have shrunk a lot more. Hang on, let me check the comments. I can do this. That's what I tell myself, but sometimes I can't. And that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you just have to lay down, distract yourself, watch something, detach from what your body's doing, distract, go to sleep. Right? Sometimes your body just needs rest. And for me, one of the great escapes, and it's not really an escape, it's a have to, but one of the greatest things that has helped me through this is allowing myself to go to sleep when I need it, right? When my body's just like done, stop trying to go beyond, right? Just go to sleep and don't judge it because you can't. And when you do that, you allow your body to be at peace and your mind to be at peace enough to do what's needed to get back on track. I feel like sometimes the universe and spirit do not inform us so we can allow the journey to unfold. Exactly. And if you always have like the belief, like I do, that everything happens for my overall positive good in the end, right? That there's always a reason for everything that we go through. Even this journey of cancer and chemo, like there's a reason I'm having to go through it this way. It definitely makes me way more aware of what the chemo journey is and what people, go through. I can say that my family's they've been way more worried because the physical changes with losing your hair and losing weight and all of that and all the drugs, like they're way more aware than they were when I went through other health battles. Does it mean that they've necessarily changed how they treat me? My dad, maybe. My dad's done a lot of caretaking. He always needs someone to take care of, which has been a huge blessing. But I do know that if there's one thing that has gotten me through this, honestly, it is just, and I wish I hadn't felt so bad about feeling bad in the beginning of this journey. Like in the beginning of my chemo, I still wanted to keep pushing and keep finding a way, even though I felt so sick. And I was so tired. Like, I wish I had just surrendered fully then and not stressed out about, but you got to keep this going, keep that going. You're not going to survive, like, financially. And what about, taking care of the housework? That's always your responsibility. Like, all these things are on my mind. And when you have all those things on your mind, but your body's not allowing you to do those things, then you get down on yourself, which, again, internal conflict. I wish I had surrendered to just go through this however I need to. And I mean, I was searching my Facebook group for lymphoma, and like, some people were still working. I'm like, how are you working? Because I even asked my palliative care team, I'm like, do people actually stay at their jobs and work? And my palliative lady said, I have one lady that did. How she did it, I don't know, but she wasn't on the regimen that you're on for sure. It wasn't as strong. She goes, but everyone else pretty much couldn't work. So don't judge it. And while I tried to keep that in mind, I'm like, I'm not at a job where I get paid time off. Like, I own my own company, right? So it's been really a big learning curve for me to kind of walk my talk when it comes to, you have to trust the universe. And so far everything's worked out. But that doesn't keep my mind sometimes from going, but you got to hurry up and get better. You got to hurry up and get better. And that kind of thinking is actually counterproductive. So I want you guys all to know, like, whatever journey you're in right now, whatever challenges you're facing, it really is counterproductive to be like, I need it fixed right now. I need the Band-Aid right now. I need the magic pill right now. Like, it has to, no, you don't. Whatever you're going through, you're meant to be going through. And there will be a bigger picture, happy ending at the end if you allow it. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. It's probably going to be messy and ugly and feel like the world is falling around you, the walls are falling in on you. I felt like that throughout this whole thing. But if you just get through each moment, prioritize what what's most important. You staying alive, you maintaining your mental health, you allowing your body to do what it needs to, the processes it needs to heal, most important. Nutrition, most important. Mental health, most important. Those things are more important than keeping your normal schedule. Because when you go through a major challenge, normal schedule does not exist. Your life is taken over, right? And fighting the fact that you are going through something, which is what I did in the beginning in a lot of ways, fighting the fact that that's what you're going through, it's not helpful. You're creating internal conflict, which is creating more stress, which is adding to your body's inability to fully heal as fast as it can. Just saying. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. There's a couple of things that I'm actually going to start working on. I've got to see what I can get help with AI. I've got, for those of you know what Charm Life is, it's my deep transformational program. I've got hundreds of hours, like several hundreds, if not thousands of hours of teachings and coaching in there that I'm going to, I want to put into, somehow get AI to help me transcribe and then edit little parts of the wisdom that have been included since 2014, 2015 on, right? Like, distill some of that down so that I can release some of that out. Because while the coachings throughout this transformational program has been happening for 9 years, the problems in life haven't changed. Some have intensified for more people, but really, like, there's nothing new under the sun. We all struggle with stuff that we struggle with, right? It's been the same way since the beginning, whether that's feeling secure, feeling happy, having hope, having financial resources, feeling safe, having connection, whatever it is we're struggling with. They're the same struggles that all of mankind has struggled with. We have some unique challenges in our lifetime because of separation, division, and hatred, but same thing on a smaller scale individually. We've all felt that, whether it's isolated from our family because we're the black sheep, or isolated from a job because you don't go along with the whole belief system, or a neighborhood. Like, we've all felt that. And since COVID, I think most people have felt that level of isolation, and it's been very difficult because you're in the echo chamber of your mind, you know, and if you spend too much time thinking and overthinking, it actually becomes very, very counterproductive. You actually need other people to bounce ideas off of and talk things through. Human beings need others. So I do want to release some of that content. So what I need from you is, what do you specifically, like I said, I've got hundreds, if not thousands of hours of content. What are the specific things you want to learn about? You want help with? Challenges that you're going through? Put it in the comments, and I will start making a list. And then the ones with the most amount of comments, those are the videos I'll prioritize finding content for that I've already done, and then start to release those things. I am going to release just small pieces of different coaching sessions. Some of them I'll have to do B-roll over the top of my voice. The teachings will be the same. The audio will be there, because this came out of my Charm Life program, and we've done thousands of hours of coaching in there. But the full teachings, the full sessions, I'm gonna different topics that are high necessity, helpful topics. We'll go into the Hidden Wisdom program so that you can access those very easily, and then search them too within that program, that monthly program. That program is $40 a month. There's already a lot of content in there. And you get a coach with me live once a month. But I want to add some stuff, because there's some relevant topics that keep coming up right now, some issues, some things that we're trying to fix on this planet individually and collectively. And like I said, like, isolation's one of them. Creating connections, one of them. Hopelessness is another one that keeps coming up. So tell me what it is you guys want to learn, want help with. You know, if you aren't comfortable doing it in the comments, send me a direct message and just put content in the message, #content. Put it in your comment, #content, and what it is you're wanting to learn about. Or you've been struggling with, so that I can find those videos. I have coached every conceivable, literally, trauma events, SA events, abuse events, financial events, job events, relationship event, like everything under the sun I have coached on through the years in that program. So I have a ton of topics available. What is it you're struggling with, right? Health issues, whatever it is. What types of topics do you guys want from me? And then I will go find that content. And while I'm parsing through all of those videos and creating content that's helpful, useful, and educational for you, and hopefully transformational for you, I will also do more lives and answer questions live, and stuff like that as time moves forward and as my body starts to recover. So that's where I'm going now. Like, that's my vision moving forward. And of course, if you actually want to go through deep transformation to the point where you're in control of your life, like living life on your terms, that is not dictated by circumstances, get in touch with me and come into our Charm Life program, because that is how we get there. Like, you become the creator of your life. You no longer the victim. We move out of victim mode, we move into creator mode. That's how I healed my life. And I have a ton of tools and a ton of experience of what works, what doesn't work, right? But you got to be coachable. You got to be open to learning and know that this work is it's deep work. This isn't surface level work. It doesn't take 6 weeks. You're in for a year. Like, you make a commitment to be there for a year, because we got to get through all of the layers of, as many as we can in that year, of the stuff that's holding you back. and making you feel like you're just going from circumstance to circumstance and issue to issue and event to event. Like, oh my God, slow the train down, right? We'll put a like a pause on all of it in your life as far as the negative events, and then start to turn the bus so that you're experiencing positive events. And once you learn the tools and the teachings, it will be with you for the rest of your life. Once you wake up, there's no going back. And it's powerful. It's really powerful. So if you want to learn more, you can always go to my website too. It's bernadettegold.com/, I think classes, and then you'll find the link. And then we have to have a conversation. That is the one program you have to talk to me before you join. There's no link to join on your own. I'm very protective over that community because of the work we do. So that's where I'm at. I'm very hopeful moving forward that my body is doing what it needs to do and that this tumor is no longer an issue. That's my mindset. I'm going to take it as it comes and see where this goes. On the 16th, I have a PET scan. On the 23rd, I have my follow-up and with my doctor, and then my first infusion. And I think I don't have the next infusion until sometime late October. By then my hair should be growing back. My energy levels should be coming back. I'm actually feeling okay today. And I'm going to go with my daughter to a homeschool store to see about getting some new materials for my granddaughter, and the fabric store, because my daughter is now making custom costumes, and she's making dance wear, and she's amazing at it, like amazing at it. I think she finally found her niche. So I'm going to go do that with her before the weekend so that I can actually get out and walk and feel like I'm doing something for a few hours, and then back to my hidey hole for the weekend away from the general public because my immune system's still not up. But that's where I'm at. And that's what's happening. So yeah, it's good to see you too, Unique. All right. You guys have any comments or questions? What do you think about that? What kind of content do you want? Like, I really want to know. I want to prioritize what I'm looking for in my previous teaching videos and coaching videos. I want to prioritize it to be the most useful for you. So what is it that you want to learn from me? Some of you have never really experienced any of my coaching or teaching, or, I call it coaching. It's more mentoring, and it's deep transformational work. But there's always bits of wisdom. Like, I look at everything from a scientific lens, but an ancient wisdom lens and spirit lens. And I always try to simplify things that are overly complex. Like, my biggest thing is anything that we are exposed to that's supposed to help us should be distilled down to the simplest of terms so that you can understand, so that you can actually use that information in a way that actually helps you live your life in a more powerful way. That's always my purpose. Like, live in a powerful way. You don't have to live the way that you were taught to live, you were told to live, all the things. I have a whole lot I want to say in the upcoming months about women's issues, Asian women issues, and women of color issues, because we have specific issues in the Asian culture for sure that are now making themselves known to the general public and we have the ability with social media to reach so many people at one time. And I want to give tidbits of hope and help into those issues with women, because we have very specific issues. So I want to speak to that too, because I know a lot of you, whether you're a woman of color or you're Asian or not, I know that a lot of women are walking with a lot more fear right now because of the things going on in the world. And if you're mothers, it's even more scary because you got children, and we always worry about the next generation, right? Like, what's going to happen for them. So I'm going to address a lot of those issues, probably on lives and stuff like that, just to get the conversation going. And I want you guys to be a part of that conversation. discernment is something I need. Oh, that's perfect. I've done a lot of coaching on discernment. A lot of coaching on discernment. I love that, Kim Tongo. Like, seriously, this one is one of the biggest questions I get as a spiritual teacher, right? Is as far as like, how do I discern between spirit and ego, intuition and ego? Like, how do I discern between if it's driven by fear or it's driven by intuitive action, divine inspired action? How do I tell? I've done a lot on that. So I can absolutely put that on the list, but I need to know from other people, like, what do you guys want from me? You know, I'm literally very well versed, and for 25 years before it was out in social mediaville, like, been teaching about the ego too, what it is and how to use it to your benefit, and how to recognize when your ego and survival mechanisms are kicking in unconsciously, that's creating blocks for you or challenges for you or attracting things into your life that you don't necessarily want, and then understanding why that keeps happening, whether that's bad relationships, dissatisfaction in your jobs, financial slides where you'll build it up and then it slides out, upper limit problems. Like, I've done a lot of teaching on that as well, and coaching on that, because that's common, right? It's part of what I've come to learn with healing my own issues and helping other people all this time is there are patterns, there are clues in your history and your life. And I guess the one thing for me that's made the work I do with people so fast is because intuitively I can start to pinpoint, laser target very quickly what the pattern is, put a name to it, and then start to piece the history of events that happen that is driving a certain behavior that you are not wanting, or driving a certain thought process that's attracting these things into your life that you don't want to experience. It makes the process go fast. Even with people with PTSD, I just completed a year with one of my clients, and that's another piece of news. I just completed a year with one of my clients who was a burn victim at 4 years old. He's now in his 40s, and he experienced a massive PTSD event from things that were unhealed. And in less than a year, we got it healed. Now he's built his confidence and everything else. And we've ended our time together for now, because he's feeling so confident. He's like, I want to go test out all of what I've learned and where I've been, and for now. And I'm like, cool. So here's the bit of news. I actually have an open slot now to take another private client, another one-on-one private client. And while I'm not adding a new slots right now, not for the next few weeks, I do have one open because his spot was reserved. So if anybody needs one-on-one coaching, mentoring, whatever your issue is, you're going through PTSD, you're going through a crisis in your life and you want that help, message me, and we'll see if you can take that spot. There's certain things that I'm not necessarily able to help with, but there's a lot of things I can. I don't believe that anything's unfixable, but sociopathy, psychopathy, I don't think those things are things that I want to deal with, right? Some types of narcissism I can help with for sure. Like vulnerable narcissism, absolutely have experience helping people transform and heal from that. But there are different things like that, those types of conditions, mental conditions and personality conditions, or I don't know what else to call them, that I'm not willing to take on. Like, you need an actual psychiatrist or psychologist for that. And the energy level it takes and the amount of resistance you meet with those types, I don't have the capacity for right now. Just saying. If you've been a victim of those personality types, I absolutely can help you. Like, absolutely can help you. If you've been through childhood trauma, if you've been through relationship trauma, if you've just been through life trauma, like, I can absolutely help you. So just putting that out there. Anywho, that's it for today. And that's it for me for now. I will come back when I'm back on my game. I'm going to take the weekend and start to go through content as much as I can. Again, I'm still detoxing, so I have these big hopes that I can spend hours at my computer. I'm going to try and see if there's something I can get AI to help me with as far as sorting through videos and summarizing and whatnot. But all of that takes massive computing power and time um, to transcribe, and then you have to edit videos. So we'll see how long this one takes. If anyone is an AI expert and want to give me some clues as to software I can use other than ChatGPT to make this process faster, hit me up on Messenger and let me know. Like if you're willing to help, just give me advice on it. Not like you want to charge me and do all this crazy. Like I don't need that. I'm pretty smart. Um, but I want to make this process as seamless as I can and get as much of the content that I already have out there to the general public, because Spirit keeps telling me, like, people need a light, an array of hope right now. People need to focus on building their internal strength and resilience. And so, yeah. All right. I love you guys, and I hope you have an amazing weekend. And love your life, love your body, no matter what it's doing. That's the other tip I have for you. Like, as much as my body has felt very foreign to me, one of the side effects that I was going to tell you about that I don't know if I've mentioned, like, I don't know if it's the nerves in my stomach, but for several months, I haven't been able to feel. I can't feel when I'm full. In fact, I can barely feel when I have to go to the bathroom, right? Like the nerves, the nerves in my whole digestive tract seem off since going through chemo. So I don't know, like I don't have that feeling of full. Now, that could potentially be because when the tumor was so big, I always felt full, like a teaspoon of food, and I felt like I can't handle anymore. The pressure and the size of the tumor was pushing up into my liver and spleen and my stomach so much that there just was no room for anything to get through. Now that the tumor's lower in my abdomen and smaller, you would think I could feel when I'm full, but I can't. That doesn't mean that I'm overeating. I'm not. Food doesn't taste very good, but I'm hope because people haven't talked about that as being a side effect from chemo. Now, neuropathy is a side effect of chemo, but people haven't specifically said, "Oh, yeah, well, it's going to take months for you to get those nerves back that tell your brain, hey, I'm full,' or hey, I've eaten enough,' or hey, I'm hungry." Like I don't know even when I'm hungry until my stomach starts growling or I start to feel that your stomach's empty nausea. That's how I tell that I'm hungry. And at this point, I just put myself on a schedule because it's easier than trying to guess. Um, and as far as like the rest of my nerves in my abdomen and my stomach and my intestines, I don't know. I don't know if this is long term, if this is permanent, if this is just a way of life. Whatever it is, I'll get through it. But I'm curious if any of you who've had chemo and RCHOP specifically have gone through that. Very curious because, man, it's one of the things that's kind of irritating. It's like that feeling of comfort. I know some of you know what I'm talking about. Um, when you're stressed or when you're sad or when you don't feel good, like you want to feel at least full. You want to have that feeling of being full with comfort food. And when you don't have those nerves that tell you you're full, it's really hard. Like it's very difficult to like feel that comfort. I don't know what that is. I know it's the brain gut connection, but man, it's not there since starting chemo. And I hope it comes back. We take these things for granted. And my granddaughter came downstairs the other day. She was washing her dishes and she said to her dad, I'm so full. And that hit me so profoundly for the reason that I don't get to feel full, but also from the fact that, like, how blessed we are that my granddaughter says that. Like, do you know how blessed we are that we get to feel full, that we have enough food? So it kind of stopped me in my tracks and made me greatly, greatly appreciate and bless the universe for the abundance that we have, that my granddaughter gets to feel full. Seems like a simple thing, but many people in many countries don't get that. And people like me that are going through chemo, they don't get that. We don't get that. It's gone. It's just gone. So appreciate what you have. Seriously, appreciate what you have. The one thing that I do know, the signals from my body for sure, is when I need to sleep, because my body just starts shutting down. My eyes start closing. I start getting weak and dizzy. Like, that's the one process in my body that's working for sure. Anywho, all right, enough babbling. Put your comments in as far as content you want, things that'll be helpful for you, and then I'll start posting that stuff when I go through my videos. And again, if y'all know AI and you have some tips for me, that would be great. It is true, right? But there's little things we don't, it may not be the food you want, but hell, the fact that you have food and you feel full, that's a major benefit and blessing, when so many people in this country and in other countries are going hungry every day. We have so many choices here in America too. Like, the Western world has so many food choices, ridiculous amounts of choices and wasted food, but people can't even afford their groceries half the time because of all the changes in the economy. So if your kids come to you and they're like, I'm done eating, I'm full, take that as a blessing of the abundance that exists in your life. Take it as a blessing. All right. See you guys later.